Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. Now in this video, I'm going to talk about will the buy-to-let market recover in 2023? What are my thoughts? What are your alternatives? And could you make money in buy-to-let? Well, the answer is depends. So make sure you stick around to the end because I've got some really good insights for you in this video. Now, this channel is all about my investment journey. We're helping you guys along the way as well to build your property portfolios. We're building a portfolio for my two girls. We've got Emily, who's 2, George, who's 22, and we've already got some deals for them on the table already, which you can see on this channel. So go and check out my other videos. Help me get some more views on this channel by smashing that like button over there, guys. Take 2 seconds, smash the like button, then we'll jump into the content. So, will buy-to-let recover or start working in 2023? Well, yes and no. It really depends on area. So in the south of England, I don't think it will. I just think it's really hard to do a buy-to-let. I did one buy-to-let in the south last year for Georgia. We bought her a 1-bedroom flat. The only reason we got that property was because we actually owned other assets in the same block. So it made sense to do that. But no, it's just really hard. In fact, we had to give more than a 25% deposit in order for the numbers to work. And I just don't see that changing anytime soon. Now, house prices have dropped a little bit, but not enough, and rents haven't gone up enough to make it a viable option. Now, in the north, I think it still works. I think buy-to-lets are great, dependable income. We've been investing in Doncaster. We've actually used different strategies as well as buy-to-let, but we just, for example, we bought a property that was dilapidated, that needed a ton of work. So we increased the value, we got it revalued, and that helped as well. But a normal buy-to-let works in that Yorkshire area quite well. And so what we found is in the south of England, we bought a property for £235,000 and we got £1,000 in rent, right? Not great, particularly where the interest rates are now. Now, in the north, you can buy a house. So this in the south was a flat. In the north, you can still buy today houses for £60,000 or £70,000, where you can quite easily, maybe with a lick of paint, or maybe if you buy good, you can get one that is ready to go. You can get £600 to £650 rent. That's in Doncaster, right? Because other people will say, well, where can you do that? Well, I'm telling you, I've done that in Doncaster. And so you can still get deals like that, even on Rightmove. You don't need to go direct to vendor. So buy-to-let isn't going to work in the south anytime soon, in my opinion. North, it does still work. But what could you do that could be better than either of those options? Because what I feel in this market is more important than ever is that you get high cash flow strategies. And so I want to go through a few of those quickly and really give you an idea on what high cash flow strategies that you can use. Now, if you want to grab an ebook on how this all works, in the description, I've got an ebook that you can download and get even more details on how to get started in property investing. So let's look at some ideas for you that could work quite well for you at the moment. And so one is where you rent a property and then you turn it into a serviced accommodation. I've got one of these deals in London. And so I rent a property for £1,500 and then we rent it out on Airbnb. It's a 2-bedroom flat, totally refurbished. And so what you have to then do is provide beds and sofas. We were fortunate that this was furnished already. So we just had to do soft furnishings, which were things like cutlery, microwave, mugs, those sorts of things. And so we rent it out and then we rent it out on a nightly basis on Airbnb. And that can be from £150 a night all the way up to £300 a night, depending if it's New Year's Eve or something like that, right? And so we've got to make sure that we then get the place cleaned, which we've got agencies that do that stuff for us. And so that's rent to serviced accommodation. Now you can also do where you own the property and run it as a serviced accommodation. So you could do own to service accommodation. So you buy it on a buy-to-let. With both of these, what I must say, with this one, you have to have permission of the landlord to be able to rent his property out, or it's illegal. And with this one, you've got to tell the mortgage company. And so you can get lenders that are fine with this stuff. but you need to check that with your broker before you go into a deal. So you can own a property and rent it out as a holiday let, right? And so this works very, very well. People have been doing it for years. It isn't just Airbnb that started this stuff out. People have had holiday rentals for decades. And so then you rent it out as an Airbnb. And so what you're looking to do here is, if you were renting these, you might make a couple of £100 profit, if that. Whereas this strategy, you might make £1,000 plus per month as profit. That's what you've got to be looking to do here. So that's one way. Next is where you rent a property and turn it into an HMO. Right, and so an HMO is a house of multiple occupancy, and that's where you rent it out on a room by room basis. Think about student accommodation, right? People have been doing this for decades as well, but now more professionals are looking for this type of accommodation, particularly in the cost of living crisis. People want accommodation that includes all of their bills and everything sorted for them. So rent-to HMOs are very, very popular at the moment, and so that's a great strategy that you can do here. Now, you can also do own to HMO. So that's where you own a property and then you rent out on a room by room basis. So we've got a house in Hastings that gets 800 quid in rent. But if we rented out the rooms, we can get 550 per room. You can turn the living room into a bedroom. You've got to have all the regulations up to date as well. But these strategies, rather than making a couple of £100, again, you're looking to do £1,000 plus. Now, rent on these ones, that's where you get started if you've got low cash flow and you don't have big deposits. Eventually, you want to start owning these assets because that's when you get the capital appreciation. Next, we can look at my favourite strategy, which I've done really well with in the pandemic times, is buy, refurbish, refinance, rent. And that's where you buy a property. So we bought a property in Doncaster for £60,000. We then spent £12,000 refurbishing it, and that property got revalued at £100,000, right? We got it revalued at £100,000, meaning we pulled all of our money out. Now, what does that mean? Well, what happens is, on a buy-to-let mortgage, the lender will lend you 75% loan to value. So if the house is worth 100 grand, they will lend you £75,000. So we bought this here at an auction. And if you want to see how we did that, that's in the description. I always pin that video. I always put that in the description. And if not, you can find it on the channel. It's a full hour long where I'm actually doing the auction. It's an online auction. You can see me bidding. You can see me analysing the deal. You can see all that was going on in that time. We've got great feedback on that video. So do go and look for that one. And so we bought the property for 60 grand, did that for 12. We had legals and stamp duty and stuff like that. So we were in the deal for around 75k. And we pulled pretty much all of our money out when we got it revalued. Now, this strategy is better than buy to let, because even if, let's just say, for example, we bought it for 60 and then we had to spend 20 doing it up, right? Or even if we had to spend 25 doing it up and we were in for 85 grand, we've made 15 grand in equity. So we're not having to put down the full 25% deposit, or we're getting some of our money back. That gives us a little pot that we can go and do more deals with. So the title of this video was all about, is buy-to-let going to work in 2023? I just think that it's going to be really hard, if not impossible, in the south of England. I believe it works in the north because I've seen it with my own eyes. But I do think that it doesn't give you enough cash flow. So I think that you should be looking at buying it as a buy-to-let, but then maybe running it as a serviced accommodation, maybe running it as an HMO, or buying somewhere that you can add value to. I always want to buy properties I can add value to. You can get those at auction, you can get those off market. All of these things will contribute to you being successful in your investment. I hope this is useful to you, this content. I hope you found this channel useful so far. If you got this far in the video, make sure you give us a little subscribe and hit the bell. And look, one other option that you can do is you can learn how to buy houses for just £1 with something called a lease option. I've made a video on that, which you can watch right here. So click there now and watch the video.